3:45 session features the Wisconsin Badgers. They are the number 7th seed in the East. They are out of the Big Ten Conference. They will play number 10 Pittsburgh in Friday's third game at 5:50. Before we go on, a few housekeeping things. First, the satellite coordinates for this afternoon. They are SES 3, KO5B as in boy. The downlink is 11795.5 horizontal. If you need those from me in between, I will have them here for you. Nigel Hayes and Bronson Koenig are with us for the Badgers.
Koenig, sir.
Koenig.
No problem.
And we will start with questions, and I have been told that Nigel will be very nice this year and just use regular words. Questions, please. Right there, here up first, and then up the aisle.
This one's for both you guys. Obviously, a 1-4 start in the Big Ten, not the best thing that the Badgers could have had this year. Was there any particular point where you guys felt that the Badgers weren't going to make the tournament? And if so, what was the moment that a turnaround occurred? Was it the changing of the coaching job? What exactly was it?
Nigel first, and then Bronson.
No, there was never a point where we thought we weren't going to make the tournament. I had the ultimate confidence and faith in my guys. As I've said to our local media a million times, there were going to be growing pains, and there definitely were those pains. Going back to the first game, started the Big Ten season, again going 1-4 like you said, but the confidence in me never wavered after our Northwestern loss, and the talk that we had amongst ourselves. We righted the ship, turned things around, and here we are.
Yeah, just to add on that, after that Northwestern loss, we were all pretty embarrassed just because of the culture of the program and everything. And a 1-4 start in the Big Ten wasn't really exactly what we planned on. So we all kind of just called the team meeting in the locker room and got all our emotions and our feelings out. And that was good for us because it eventually brought us together, brought us closer together, and we started winning some games. So that's what we need to continue to do this month.
Dan Wolken, USA Today, right here. Nigel, are you really going to break with tradition in the NCAA tournament and not use a word that's going to stump the transcriptionist?
Well, actually, that's not really tradition. Freshman year, I didn't do that. Last year, again, that was an accident. And this year, I think I'm going to take it upon myself to use you guys and profess I have, like a celebrity crush, Leah from Glee. So if she's watching this, if she hears this, hello, I'm available, call, text, call at the Kohl Center, Coach Guard's number. So if you could get this to her, tweet this out, maybe send her a, poke on Facebook. I don't know how this works. Kids in this social media nowadays, I don't know how to do that. And also, if Miss Leah has a friend, I have a friend. And, like Biggie said, your friends can meet my friends and we can be friends. So, yeah.
If I may ask a more serious question. Going in this year as a bit of an underdog, last couple years, people have really expected a lot from you guys in the tournament. Is it a different mentality for either or both of you to come in, lower seeded, a little bit of a different, situation where you don't have all that tournament experience aside from you two?
No, not at all. I was telling the guys again, the difference is last year we wanted to win the national championship. We believed we'd win, and the only difference was you guys believed in us too. This year we want to win the national championship. We believe we can, and then you guys don't think we can, which is, that's fine. Everyone has their opinions, rightfully so. You have the great teams, the 1 seeds that they have, the way they played, et cetera, et cetera. So it makes sense, but that doesn't take away from what we have in that locker room. Bronson and I sitting right here, what we believe in ourselves and what we know we can do. So we just have to go out, play every game like it's our last, take care of the little things, and hopefully the wins will come.
Bronson, your answer regarding expectations this year as compared to last year?
I have nothing more to add on that.
The first game I went to of your guys this year was actually the scrimmage. I think it was against UW-Plattsburgh, maybe?
Scrimmage? We had a scrimmage?
Oh, maybe you guys weren't even a part of that. But One thing I realized from that was how big Ethan Happ contributed, and then I saw throughout the year how he came through and through every time you guys really needed him. How big would you say an effect has he had on this team this year, Ethan Happ?
Bronson, go ahead.
I think he's been huge for us this year, and ever since last year in practice, playing against Frank gave him some great experience, and Frank taught him a lot of things that he's carried on over to this year. And I mean, everyone can see the progression that he's made over the past couple months, really. And he's been a vital part of our offense, just trying to get the ball inside. And once he gets that mid-range jump shot, he's going to be really hard to stop.
This is for Nigel. Can you talk about the importance of Michael Young, Jamel Artis from you guys defensively, holding them down?
That's a very big part of their team. I think those two guys, what we've learned from film and scouting up, that either Young or Artis have been the leading scorers in all but maybe one or two of their games, something like that. So we know that those guys contribute and carry most of the load for them. And it's going to be important, obviously, if we want to win, we have to not only score more points, but don't allow them to score as many. We know they're both great players. They present tough matchups for us. But it's something I think that that's why it's team game, team defense, and then we'll do our best to try and make them take shots that are lower percentage or not as comfortable for them, and then we'll play the percentages.
Right there in front of you, Karen.
I don't know if you guys would describe yourself as fairly loose going into this game. Is it easier to be more relaxed with the experience you have, not only in this tournament, but also having gone through what you went through this season with the coaching change and everything?
Nigel, first, please.
I think it's just a matter of balancing it, which is something that, again, last year us being as good as we were throughout the whole year was something that you guys being the media made a big deal out of, and the world saw that, and they're like, oh, those guys have fun, and then they go and win. I mean, it's still the same thing. It's just a game of basketball at the end of the day, and we always want to have fun while we're playing it. So we always try to stay loose as we can, but then we have to know, like every team, there's a time and a place, and when it's time to flip that switch, we have to focus, zero in on whether our task at hand, whether that's practice or film or actually when the game comes. It's just a matter of balancing it both.
Was there any underlying tension during the year, not knowing if Coach Gard was going to get the job permanently or not? Just in terms of, it wasn't always just sort of hanging over the team?
Bronson, go ahead.
No, I wouldn't say there's any tension really at all, because he always told us that, it's all about the players, it's all about us, and that he's just there to kind of put us in the best possible position to succeed. And it wasn't really an audition for him or anything like that. So, I mean, we always just looked at him as the head coach ever since, Coach Ryan left and everything. We weren't really thinking about, oh, we got to win to get Coach Gard the job or anything like that. So, but I'm really happy that he did get the head coaching job eventually.
This one's for you, Nigel. Do you feel more effective playing inside or outside of the paint?
It depends on who's guarding me. I'll elaborate for you. Again, it's similar to him asking about Young. Young is a player that plays the exact same way. He has the ability to put the ball on the ground, and he can shoot the ball, and he can also go inside, and what he does is predicated on who's guarding him. So, I mean, whatever. The best way to put it is you just take what the defense gives you. You never try to force anything. You don't want to force anything. That's when bad things happen. So if there's a guy who wants to sag off, shoot the ball. If they come up, go around. Smaller, go inside, et cetera, et cetera.
Right next to you.
Gentlemen, you guys haven't played since last Thursday. Do you think the off time has helped you guys a little bit, or it may hurt because you haven't played in a while?
Bronson, first, please.
I think it's helped us. I mean, I hope it's helped us and help our legs a little bit, get us a little rest. I know a couple of our guys have been a little banged up, nicks and bruises just like everybody else in the country. But, yeah, I think it'll help us and kind of get that bad taste out of our mouth after the past 2 games and kind of go back and strategize what we got to do to beat Pitt.
Nigel, rest hurt you or help you?
That's a question that you answer after a game is played. This being the tournament, I don't want to think about the negative things, but if we win this game, you guys would say the rest helped us. If we lose this game, you would say we had too much time off. So that's something, again, we don't worry about those ancillary things. We focus on looking at last game, rest of the season, what did we do well, do it better. What didn't we do well, do that better. And then we'll try to go play as hard as we can and see what happens.
Anything else for the student athletes of Wisconsin?
I prefer athletics too. Think it's
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much.
more
Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Head coach is up here at 4 o'clock. And as advertised, head coach Greg Gard is here. We're going to ask him to make a statement to open up the session about his team, about being in St. Louis, and then we will go to questions. Greg, please.
Okay, thanks. Obviously extremely excited to be here in St. Louis. I know for our team and our program for the 18th consecutive year, making an appearance in this tournament is extremely special and something we take great pride in. Very proud of our guys, of how they've responded this year. I think our story's been told quite frequently in terms of how our players have responded and rallied really here in the last half of the season to be able to be in this position. Like I said, I'm extremely proud of what they've done, and to get us to this point in time, we're excited to play again tomorrow night, and nice being this close to Madison, where hopefully we'll have a lot of fans here, and with that, I'll take any questions.
Start right back there on the left.
Hi, Greg. I don't know if you call yourself a daydreamer, but you know, when you're 9-9 and 1-4, and maybe you're having a moment when you can think, what do I want to get out of this at this point this season? What did you think could happen? And was there a moment when you knew it was going to change for the better?
Well, I always thought when we were 1-4 that things were going in the right direction. Maybe it wasn't showing up in terms of the results or the scoreboard, but I saw things in practice and I saw things happening in games that I felt we were on the right path. And obviously, having been around a lot of success over the years with Coach Ryan, I had a pretty good plan in place and had a blueprint for how to approach the season and to stick to it. And as I've watched, obviously, Bo work a lot of teams over the years, not deviating from your plan. And I think that was the biggest thing, to stay true to the plan, not flinch in the moment, and continue to work the process. And we've talked about the process a lot with our team, and not worrying about the scoreboard or the results, but making sure we practice the right way every day, we approach every day in and itself, making sure that has the greatest value. And I never worried about what was coming down the road. I just tried to focus on the day at hand and make sure we were using that to maximize to the max limits in terms of how much better could we get in that specific day. And I think once that started to happen, I started seeing more and more results and better progress in practice. You know, a lot of people focused on the last minute or 30 seconds of games. When we lost at Indiana in the last 30 seconds, we lost at Purdue at home to start the Big Ten season in the last minute when they hit a couple threes, and Maryland Trimble hits a 28-footer against us to win. But I tried to focus more on the previous 55 to 65 possessions in those games and make sure we became more consistent in that realm, in that regard. And then as we got better in that span, then we started to have better results as we went down the last and be able to close some games, and obviously be able to win at Michigan or at home against Michigan State was a big confidence booster for us. I mean, I don't know if we played that much better than we did in other areas, or other games, but we were more consistent. I think that's the biggest thing. We just became more consistent, and they gained confidence as time went on.
Greg, the teams you guys brought here the last couple years were so good that, you know, if you didn't make the Final Four, it might have been considered a bit of a disappointment. This year, obviously, being lower seeded, do you think there's a different mentality, you know, for the guys who were part of that, or do you think they kind of go in thinking the same way?
No, I think they think the same way. We approach everything, whether it's the non-conference into the league schedule, always trying to win the Big Ten first and then the Big Ten tournament, and then go as far as you can in the NCAA tournament. So we've never changed focus, even when we had the team last year with a lot of seniors and a lot of talent and a lot of experience. The mindset was always one game at a time, and obviously our goal was to get to the Final Four and be able to win the whole thing. And this group has the same approach. They'll take it one game at a time, understanding that we'll have to play very well in order to advance, but we had to play very well last year in order to advance. So it's not, I don't think there's anything different in terms of the approach we take. Obviously, our experience level is different. This is the first time we've never had a senior starter, nor do we have a senior in our rotation. So from that standpoint, we've got to build really quickly or use the experience that they've gained in the last 20 to 32 games that we've played so far. So I think their mindset is we're going to take this thing as far as we can, and is no different than any other team we've had.
Jonah Caspi, WSUM Student Radio. Obviously, you were an assistant to Bo Ryan for a good number of years. Were there any other head coaching job offers that came to you during that time, and why did you turn them down? If so, was Wisconsin your dream job?
Well, I'm going to answer your question in a backwards order. Every job I've had has been my dream job, whether it was my first 8th grade job back at Southwestern in Hazel Green, Wisconsin, or the job I had at Platteville High School as an assistant, or with Coach Ryan at UW Platteville or Milwaukee. I always tried to live in the moment and make sure I made the most of that specific day and that specific team. And then I always figured if you did a good enough job at the job you were at and the day you were in, eventually the future would take care of itself. So for me, yes, I did have opportunities to go to other places, both as an assistant and as a head coach, but I always felt that obviously you write down things on paper and you weigh the pros and cons of career moves. Some of them were personal related, some of them were professionally related in terms of why I did not make the move, but never in the case or the mindset that I needed to be be a head coach by X years old. So I just tried to make the most of every team we had and try to give them my best and make sure their experience as student athletes was optimal and good. And I think obviously it's worked out. So I've been fortunate. I've been surrounded by a lot of good people, a lot of very good players, a lot of very good coaches over the years. So I'm the lucky one in terms of how this all ended up.
2 questions on the left-hand side, Coach.
Greg, when it comes to flipping the switch, as your players talked about, going from having fun and enjoying the moment to being more serious, what do you notice that maybe we don't see manifest in a game leading up to it? What do you notice from them?
Well, I think their approach and how they've matured through the year is one thing that I've noticed. They're not maybe as giddy as they were maybe earlier in the year. I think some of that's maturity. I think our older guys have done a much better job of leading as time has gone on, and that's been a new experience for them. Not only do we have a lot of freshmen, we also have Nigel Hayes and Bronson Koenig, Zach Showalter, and Vito Brown in roles that they've never been in before in terms of leadership. So not only do they have to deal with a new head coach, they also have to deal with a lightly experienced team with not a lot of returning minutes, so to speak, and then also have to lead a bunch of freshmen that haven't been through this before. So what I've seen through the course of the year is just a maturity level growth in a lot of areas. Obviously on the floor, it's been evident, but that all started in the locker room. And I think it changed as our chemistry got tighter and our leadership started to mature back in mid-January to early February, I think, is where we really started to turn the corner. And it initially started with how those guys interacted and approached and communicated with each other in the locker room.
Quite a thing, Greg, to have you and Tom Izzo here together. Both programs, of course, but he's the dean in the Big Ten, and you've got, I don't know if you have 2 weeks yet, without the interim tag.
Nope, I don't.
Have you guys had a chance to talk, and has he had a chance to encourage you yet? And also, I wonder just what you think of what he's done and continues to do.
I don't think I have enough time here to talk about Coach Izzo in terms of all the positive things that I think about him and what he's done, obviously, with his program. As you look, as this was compared, my position to his position over the last months and even years, an assistant that spent a lot of time or most of his career at one institution, him at Michigan State with Coach Heathcote, me at Wisconsin with Coach Ryan, having never left our home states. He's from the UP. I'm from Southwest Wisconsin, so people drew a lot of parallels there, And Tom was very good over the years, not only the last 3 months, but the last 5 or 6 years of kind of, from the outside, giving me a little advice on how he saw things maybe hopefully unfolding for me and what he went through when he was in my position, you know, in those years with Coach Heathcote. So obviously I have nothing but respect for Coach Izzo, and we haven't had a chance really to talk. You know, when we played each other, we were more concerned about our respective teams. We've texted quite a bit back and forth. Hopefully, as you know, he's got a team to coach and he's trying to advance. I'm trying to do the same thing with our team. I'll get a chance to really connect with him maybe in the off season and really get a chance to talk. We were in the meeting just a little while ago with all the coaches and administrators, and I think he is the dean in there, along with Coach Boeheim was in there. But also, I think it's myself and Archie Miller were the two youngest. So, as you're right, it hasn't been 2 weeks. That's the best loss that we've had all year. Was the loss of the interim tag. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to, you know, hopefully to connecting with Coach Izzo more in depth down the road.
Straight back.
Coach, you guys haven't played since last Thursday against Nebraska. Do you think the time off has helped you a little bit?
Yeah, I think it has, because I don't have any other choice to answer it any other way. I think we took Friday off. We also took Sunday off, and I think it was good for us just to get back and freshen up a little bit, rest up, because we had quite a stretch coming down with the road games we had played and who we had played and where in the last 3-4 weeks of the season. So I thought we practiced very well the last 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll have one more workout here this afternoon, a light one, but they've been sharp. They've been eager and excited, and know that they've, as I've told them, you've earned this. You know, this wasn't handed to you. You've had to scratch and claw your way here, and now we're going to make sure we enjoy it and have fun. And that's always the teams that I watch over the years that really make the most of this opportunity are ones that are loose and, you know, let it fly. So we're not going to reinvent the game here in 24 hours or over the course of this week. We're going to have to stay true to who we are, and we're going to have to play very well to beat, you know, Coach Dixon's teams. We've seen them on numerous occasions over the years, and we know what we're in for tomorrow night.
Anything else for the head coach? Yes, right there on the left again.
I'll throw one more in. Just wonder what you think characteristically or in personality, the difference between the team that we saw last year that had everybody laughing in press conferences and all that, and of course was so good on the court. What's changed? What's different about this group?
Well, 21 years of experience is one thing. 4 seniors, 2 fifth-year seniors, and Dukin and Gosser, and then Kaminsky and Jackson having 4 years, and Decker with 3. So that's the biggest thing. Obviously very talented, but had a lot of experience, had been in a lot of scenarios, had seen ups and downs of a season. I think that was the biggest thing this group had to grow through. They hadn't seen a whole lot of adversity in terms of a college basketball season of having to handle a few losses in a row, or maybe things not going well. So that's the biggest thing. That group had been calloused and had weathered the storm and had matured over the course of time. That team, even though you saw it the year before in 14 go to the Final Four as well in Dallas, that team wasn't one of those that was an out-of-the-box instantaneous team. That took 3 or 4 or 5 years to put together and grow together. So that's, I think in some ways it's unfair to compare this year's team with that team, because that team took a long time to incubate, so to speak, and mature. And we had, at the time, where maybe unfortunate circumstances with Gosser tearing his ACL and Dukin coming down with mono, that gave them an extra year. And that added to the end, last year's team, that extra year added at the end of the day. So that's probably the biggest thing, is just all the experience that is different between the two.
Right here in the second row.
Just on when you're mentioning experience, Jordan Smith, of course, doesn't really play a prominent role in the starting lineup and checks in every so often. How much of an impact does he have in the locker room in terms of leadership and helping out these junior guys really get a grasp on the team?
Well, he's been a voice of reason, because he's one of those guys that, has come through the ranks and has had to. He's endured a lot of things, and he's watched a lot of things over the years in terms of the team. He was a roommate with Frank Kaminsky. He was very good friends with Kaminsky, or is very good friends with Frank. So he saw what these younger guys had never been through. In terms of 3 or 4 years ago, when the boat was rocking a little bit, so to speak, he had a string of a few losses together. How do we handle that? How do we not deviate How do we not flinch? So I think his voice and his presence in the locker room has helped. Like, hey guys, this is going to be okay. I've seen this before. Stick to the plan. Don't fragment. Stick together, and we'll be okay. And I think that's the biggest thing that Jordan's been able to do is help us, kind of with a voice of reason and with experience.
We have 3 minutes to go. We have 2 questions up. Start in the back.
Coach, there's been so much talk about already here about last year's team and the comparisons and all that, unfair or not. But how much is this team just relishing the opportunity to kind of write its own history as this tournament gets started?
Well, I think you look at the journey this team went on to get here, and I don't know if I said back in Madison on Sunday at the selection press conference, if we would have sold tickets for that press conference on January 15th and said, all right, today we're selling tickets for your seat on Selection Sunday in our press conference, I don't think we would have sold out. I think we would have left over tickets. So from where they've come in 2 months, from January 15th to March 15th, is a tremendous credit to them. I can't be more proud of how they've responded and grown, and they've created their own identity, and they had to forge their own way, because like I said, that 21 years of experience, along with a Hall of Fame head coach, walked out the door. So they were, they had to kind of find their own way, so to speak, and grow. And regardless of who was coaching the team, we knew there was going to be a growth spurt or a growth process that was going to have to take place. And for them to be able to weather the storm, and when there was a lot of naysayers out there in December and January that this might be the team that doesn't quite get it done or doesn't continue the streak of 18 consecutive tournaments, which I find astronomical. I mean, it's hard to believe growing up in Wisconsin, and I was 24 years old before I saw an NCAA tournament team. From 47 to 94, am I right, Justin? 47 to 94, that puts me at 24. I went a long ways, or a long time, or almost a quarter century, and before I saw one. My kids have known nothing different than seeing Wisconsin in an NCAA tournament and the football program in a marquee bowl every year. So that's where I get the most pressure from, is at home, because they've never seen anything different. But just to get back to your question, I mean, I'm happy for our guys because they did what a lot of people didn't think was possible. And to get to this point, they've forged their own identity, they've written their own story, and hopefully we've got a lot more yet to write.
Final question right here.
I was just wondering how Nigel's role has changed from last year and how he's matured, like how different is he even now than he was a year ago?
The biggest thing is in the locker room for Nigel, and Bronson in that category too, from a standpoint of we knew that his role on the floor was going to change. He was going to go from being the 5th, 6th, 7th most talked about player in an opponent's scouting report to being 1 or 1A. But the biggest change for him was going to be how he was going to lead the locker room and how he was going to be going from being the comedian at the press conferences to now somebody everybody was going to have to listen to, and how he was going to conduct himself and learn to be a leader in the locker room when the doors were shut, when he had 16 other teammates in there, and how he was going to learn to understand that every teammate is different. Some teammates you have to put your arm around, some teammates you have to be a little more direct with, a little more vocal with. So Nigel has learned as the season's gone on how to be a better leader, and that's the biggest thing. I think that the change he's made has been behind closed doors in the locker room of how to lead these younger guys, and he's done a tremendous job of growing into that role.
Thank you, Greg. Good luck tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Xavier is up next at 4:30, student athletes.
Red mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And this is the red mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No? Nothing's dead. It's not picking up audio. It should get audio. 1, 2, 3. I wonder which channels they assigned it to. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a mic check for the interview room. This is a mic check for the interview room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, this is a check of the interview room audio through its distribution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, check, check.
The Xavier Musketeers are with us. They are the number 2 seed in the East bracket. They are out of the Big East Conference. They will play number 15 Weber State in Friday's late game. We have James Farr, Miles Davis, Remy Abel with us, and we're going to start with questions right away for any of the 3 student athletes, starting right there.
Shannon Russell, Cincinnati Enquirer. Miles, having had a chance now to study up a little bit on Weber State, what are your impressions of them, and do they remind you of anyone you've played this year?
Weber State's really good. A comparison that I would probably think about is Providence. They have 2 main guys that really go and really do a lot of their scoring, and they have a really good supporting cast for those 2 guys. The big man, Balamu, I think that's his name. I'm not too sure. He's really good, athletic, strong, and singling. He can really shoot the ball. So, we just got to be ready to, try and make it a tough day for those 2, and then, try and, not make it a good day for any of the other guys.
Come back, yes.
James, you guys had a record-setting regular season, and obviously are back here in the tournament, as is tradition in the program. As you move forward and look at tomorrow's game, what do you think some of the keys are for you guys as you get ready to face Weber State?
Just be the Xavier team that we've been all year. Just a tougher team, the team who rebounds, get the 50-50 balls, and just pride ourselves on defense. We've had some slip-ups on defense this year, and I think we're finally making our way back to who we used to be during the year, and tomorrow should be exciting.
Can I follow up on that question? What do you think those defensive slip-ups were, and how'd you fix them?
Just caught ourselves playing to the level of our offense. If we didn't have a good shooting night, it would kind of affect how we play on defense. And, we have some mature guys on our team, and, we saw the problem. We fixed it during the couple of days we had off after the Big East tournament, and I feel like we're ready to go now.
Right here in the front row.
Obviously, the Big Sky is not nearly as competitive as the Big East. How do you guys make sure you don't overlook Weber State to give them an upset in one of the Cinderellas of March Madness?
Remy, you first, please, and then we'll go to Miles.
Like I said, like James and Miles said, we just gotta continue to play like we've been playing all year. Obviously, just do it on the defensive end. It starts on defense, sharing the ball, playing together, and just coming out ready to play. Not looking at the conference or the name, and just playing like we've been playing all year, and not taking anybody for granted.
I think we'll be crazy to overlook Weber State. They definitely won their conference championship, and they're a very, very good team. So we're going to treat Weber State like we treat every team, and we've been that's exactly what we've been doing all year, and try and stick to what we do, and play our basketball, and hopefully we'll be all right.
Remy, as someone who's played in the tournament multiple times, do you impart any wisdom to the younger guys, like say in Edmond, just to kind of prepare them for what the environment might be like, or what the tournament might be like?
Nobody's really asked me, really, but when I'm out there or before the game, if anybody got any questions, I'll answer them. But just to say to the team that from here on out, so when I go home, let's leave it all out there on the court, and not look back and think about what we could have done or what we should have done, at the end of the game.
Miles, Coach Mack today won another National Coach of the Year award, and he's in line to potentially get a third. Based on the accolades he's received, what do you think does it mean for you as a player to have your coach win that award, and why do you think that he's worthy of it?
I think Coach Mack is fully deserved of every award that he's won. Credit to him, and as you can see, nothing is possible without Coach Mack leading us in the way that he has been leading us all year. So, he's worked just as hard as any one of us has worked, and, it's all being paid off to him. So, we're excited for him, we're happy for him, and we're glad to see Coach Mack actually, getting an award for, something that he's done and something that he's accomplished, well, trying to accomplish.
This is for all 3. Xavier has a lot of experience in the NCAA tournament. Is this a better team than you had last year, for instance?
Remy, we'll start with you, go to Miles, and then James.
I feel like last year we had a good team, but yeah, I feel like this year the team is a lot better. We're a lot deeper. We're more experienced. We have a lot of freshmen last year. They're now sophomores. They've played in the tournament, so I feel like this team, has a lot of experience, a lot of depth. I feel like we can do, big things this year and make a deep run.
Like Remy said, we all have experience now. The good thing was we got to experience making a run to the Sweet 16 and brought in the same core group of guys. Just added a couple people, but I think we learned from every lesson that we've had this season, whether it was a loss or a win, and then we learned from last season how bad it felt to lose in the tournament and actually what it took to get to the point where we wanted to get. So I think this team is more than capable of accomplishing anything that we want to accomplish, but you can only say so much. It's about doing it, and that's what we're looking forward to do.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what those two said, last year was a good season for us. We went to the Sweet 16, and but to answer your question, I think we really won't find out until it's all said and done after this tournament. We've done some great things this year, but we haven't accomplished any of our goals yet, and that's to win a national championship. And we can't really do any of that until we win tomorrow. And, we just focus on the game ahead of us and nothing past that.
Anything else for the student athletes of Xavier? On the left-hand side, gentlemen.
I wonder for all three of you, do you guys, in just your experiences going around the country, as college basketball players, do you still get a level of, I'm just going to use the word ignorance, I don't mean it in a negative way, but from people about the Xavier program, where is the school, what league do you play in, despite all the accomplishments your program has had in recent years?
Start with you, James, this time. Come to the right. Miles, then Remy.
Yeah, you have your people that ask where Xavier is, but I never get the sense of they're trying to be disrespectful. They just don't know, and I answer the questions politely, have a conversation with them, try and educate them about Xavier's history and the school and the athletic program there, and then, and that's pretty much it. Just go about your day.
I think at first people didn't recognize who we were because we were a small school. But I think as time has came along, Xavier has done a great job in providing and showing that we're just as good as any other school. It doesn't matter the type of numbers. We were successful whether we're graduating people, whether we're making tournament runs in whatever sport that we're doing. So I think Xavier has made a way for itself and has gotten a lot of recognition. And hopefully people can pay attention to us. But it really doesn't matter to us. We're just going to keep doing what we do and keep just paving the way for time to come.
Yeah, I would piggyback off what they said. Obviously Xavier's a small school, so a lot of people, might not know about the school compared to like maybe some North Carolinas, Arizona schools like that. But, Xavier's done a great job. Student athletes and even, normal students are just paving the way. Graduating students, the athletics, everything, is falling into place, and, hopefully keep it going.
Yes, right here on the aisle.
James, Coach has said many times that this has been a very enjoyable team to coach, very fun team to coach. Has this been the most fun Xavier team to play for in your career, and if so, why?
Yeah, I would say so. Just off the fact that we're winning. I've been on the losing teams here at Xavier. It wasn't fun. Season was very long, but, just to put it all together my senior year and just how much winning we've done, not to lose 2 games in a row this whole season, the way we've bounced back after every loss that we've had this year. It's been amazing, and just seeing how our fans support us. It's everything you ever wish for. But, we're at a bigger stage now, and I'm not looking forward just to ending it now.
I guess I meant more chemistry-wise. Guys getting along and, just kind of that aspect of it. Is that different than other years?
Yeah, most definitely. We didn't really lose a lot of players last year. We lost 2 vital players from last season, but, we didn't lose our whole team. We had some really good role players and players who have emerged themselves as stars for our team. And, everybody just took on their role and accepted criticism, and, just make sure winning is our main priority.
Anything else for the student athletes of Xavier? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Mack is next at 4:45. As advertised, head coach of Xavier is here, Chris Mack. We're going to ask him to make a short statement about his team being in St. Louis, and then we will go to questions. Chris?
I'm excited our team's in St. Louis. Questions?
Chris, last time we talked to you, you hadn't had a chance to check out Weber State. Now that you've had some time, what are your impressions of them, and specifically Senglin and Bollenboy?
Well, I'm really impressed. You know, I saw Randy earlier at the coaches meeting, and you know, they have a big-time front court. They put a lot of pressure on your front court to either double the post or crowd the post. Obviously, it all starts with Bollenboy, but you know, they've got other players that you know, are very, very big. They present more size than I think Big Sky opponents are probably used to. And it forces you to make a decision whether you collapse, like I said, or trap. And then, you know, not only Senglin, but, you know, Richardson, you know, guys on the perimeter can really, really shoot the three. And so that's sort of the rub you're in. You know, how do you want to play their front court? Because their perimeter players really space you and spread you with their ability to shoot the three.
As a follow-up on Bollenboy, I think you said that maybe Senglin reminded you of Kellen Dunham from Butler. Does Bollenboy remind you of anyone that you guys have seen this year, or is he just a unique player?
He's unique. I don't know if there's anybody in the Big East that you know, has his size, skill level, athleticism. You know, he's the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. He's just a big challenge on both ends of the floor, and you know, he's athletic enough to play a four. I'm certain he's going to guard Trey. He's just a very difficult matchup. And, you know, a lot like James Farr for us, his development over the course of his career has been really impressive. You know, from a guy that Coach Ray talked about when he first got there, you know, really wasn't, he was like a young colt, is how I think he described him. You know, didn't really know what he was doing, was athletic, but couldn't really hold his position, didn't really have any go-to moves. And now you look at him as a senior, he's going to get a lot of NBA looks, and it's because of that development. So it's a big challenge for us.
Stay there.
As you head into this game, what do you feel are some of the keys for your team?
Well, I think anytime you play in tournament play, you have to do a great job on the glass. You can't allow opponents to get second, third, fourth, fifth shots. You have to be able to take care of the ball, make good decisions on offense, and just be who you are. You know, it's a 40-minute game. You can't get caught up in, you know, a bad start, a great start. It's all irrelevant. It's a 40-minute game, and just continuing to be that team that you've been on the practice floor and in game night every minute you're out there, and things will take care of themselves.
Left-hand side, Coach.
This is off topic, but I know you got to know Billy Donlin in recent years at that coaches versus cancer thing in Cincinnati. I wonder if you had any reaction to him losing his job.
Yeah, it's a bad decision. You know, I don't know their athletic director. But, you know, we're in a results-oriented business. Unless there was some scandal, which I know Billy, and that's not the case, he should not have been let go. Guy wins 22 games this year, 13 conference games, which is the most in the history of the school. Goes to the championship game 3 years in a row in the Horizon League. He graduated as players. I mean, I don't know who Wright State, you know, is pretending to be or trying to be, but that's ridiculous.
Now, preparing for a game like this, you have to tell your players, maybe get them a little more hyped up.
Why?
To avoid the upset.
No. I think there was an article in our paper that said, you know, the hunted versus the hunter. Like, we're hunting. Like, we're hunting. We're hunting to get to April. Like, we're not being hunted by anybody. When you're hunted, you have no idea you're in the game. Like, deer has no idea it's being hunted. Like, it's competitive. It's a game. Like, we're doing hunting of our own. Sorry, Shannon. I didn't like that headline.
It's okay, I don't write the headlines.
I know you don't. But you talk to the people who do.
Chris, you won a second National Coach of the Year award today. You know, I know you don't really like these kinds of questions, but are you able
So why do you ask them?
I have to get you on the record here.
No, you don't.
Do you want to talk about that at all? I mean,
No.
does it mean anything to you at this point?
No, it means that I'm really happy for our team. I've said this all year long. They've been an incredibly coachable group. You know, maybe the expectations were different outside the locker room. It's been a great team to coach, a fun team to coach. I'm blessed with a tremendous assistant coaching staff who invest just as much as I do in our team and our players. And, you know, when we lose, they hurt just as much as I do. And, you know, the chemistry we have, you know, between us as coaches, I think a lot of, you know, head coaches around the country call their colleagues and call other head coaches. And I just sit in my staff meetings with my staff because they give me the best advice on what we need to do in order to become a better team.
Anything else for the head coach? Okay, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Chris. Best of luck. Pittsburgh is next, 5:15. Pitt Panthers are with us. They're number 10 seed in the East. They're out of the ACC. They'll play number 7 Wisconsin in Friday's third game at 5:50. We have James Robinson, Jamel Artis, and Michael Young representing the student body. And we'll go right to questions for the 3 student athletes. Go right here. Thank you.
Jim Thomas, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Just for the 3 of you guys, can you talk a little bit about your opponent, Wisconsin? What do you know about them? What challenges do they bring to you? And did you watch them last year make their Final Four run?
We'll start with Michael and just go to my left.
Yeah, we've watched a little bit on them so far. And we just know that they're a team that's they're very sound defensively and offensively. They like to grind it out, get a good shot. They can play inside, they can play outside. They got some great post guys, and they got guys that can shoot on the outside. But for the most part, we know that they're very disciplined offensively and defensively.
This is a team that plays solid on both ends of the basketball. So, we got to go out there and we got to be the aggressor on defense and offense, and we got to be smarter than them because they're going to take down the shot clock and make the right shot at the right time. So we have to go out there and be ourselves and know our role.
I think they're definitely going to play their pace of game. We can't have any mental lapses on defense because they're going to pretty much just be looking for us to break down and then capitalize off our mistakes. So mentally we have to be locked in for 40 minutes.
Stay right here.
How does playing in a tough conference like the ACC prepare you guys for the tournament?
James, start with you this time and go the opposite way.
I think playing in a tough conference like the ACC, you get to see different styles of play, pretty much night in and night out. You have to be ready to play every game. There's no nights off in the ACC, and I think just knowing, having gone through that whole regular season, is going to prepare us for this tournament.
Like James said, the ACC is one of the top levels to play amongst. So, this is prepare us to be great. This is a long season, so right now we got to go out there and push ourselves through the second season. We've been striving for this our whole year, so we got to go out there, and bring it out all for 40 minutes.
Playing in the ACC, like those guys said, you can never take a night off. Anybody can lose to anybody. The best team in the conference could lose to the worst team in the conference if they don't come ready to play. And just like this tournament, every game could be your last, so you got to come ready to play. And you got to come with that mindset that there ain't no second game, there ain't no second chance, that this is the only chance you got, and you got to make the best of it.
Over here on the left, gentlemen.
You guys went through a tough 3-game skid, but were able to turn it around with a big double overtime win against Wake Forest. How big do you think was that for the mentality of the team?
Jamal, you first, then Michael.
That just showed the character of our team. When we down, we came back, and we fought hard through the ups and downs. So, every game not going to be pretty for us. So we missing shots. We got to play defense. We ain't playing defense well. We got to make shots. So, we can put 2 and 2 together. We'll be a great team, an awesome team. So, like you said, we came back and to show character of amongst our players, and we toughed it out.
Yeah, I would just say that game playing against Wake Forest, they're a really great team, and in any other conference, they'd probably be one of the tops in any other conference. And playing that game and going into double overtime, it really showed us that no matter how good you're playing or how bad you're playing, or if you had a good start, had a bad start, that you got to keep fighting, and that there'll be chances for you to win the game whether you're down or up. So you just got to keep playing and keep fighting, and you go overcome anything and get the job done.
I think in that Wake Forest game, guys made plays down the stretch that just showed that we were capable of making stuff happen in a big moment. And I think in this tournament, just looking at the history of it, it does take some big time plays on offense and defense to reach that ultimate goal.
Go back here, Jim.
For those of us that don't see you guys regularly, when you guys are at your best, what is your game like?
Michael, first.
When we're at our best, we're playing great on both sides of the floor. Offensively, we're a great team that can pass, shoot. You know, we can play inside and outside. So I think when we're at our best offensively, you know, we got everything going. We're clicking on all cylinders. You know, we're scoring in the post. We're making great passes. You know, we're getting 20-plus assists and having under 10 turnovers. And just defensively, we're playing mentally tough. We're playing gritty. We're scrapping it out. We're getting rebounds, and we're making it as tough as possible for the other team to score.
Like you said, when we're at our best, we're amongst one of the toughest teams to go against. So, you know, we get up the floor very fast in transition, and then we're playing solid defense. We're a hard team to beat. So, like I said, we got to go out there from the tip and, you know, be the aggressor, try to speed the basketball up, try to speed Wisconsin up. So, you know, they like to play slow pace, so we want to speed them up and, you know, hold them under 35%, we'll be very well.
I think, like Mike said, we're at our best when we do get 20 plus assists per game. That, you know, for us, we think that translates to, you know, the ball really moving, finding an open guy, but then, you know, taking good shots. And, you know, also our rebounding, especially on the offensive end, rebounding our own misses. We take great pride in that, and as defensive rebound as well.
Anything else for the student athletes of Pitt? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
We'll let you go. Get prepared for tomorrow, and best of luck. Jamie Dixon next at 5:30 sharp. And the head coach of the Panthers is here, Jamie Dixon. We're going to ask him to make a statement about being in St. Louis, about his opponent. Then we'll go to questions. Jamie, please.
Well, excited about St. Louis being here for our guys. First time to be at this site for us, and looking forward to the opportunity. Obviously, Wisconsin, very good team. We've got to watch a lot of film, go through them, and prepare. And with being on one of the last games on Friday, we've had a few extra hours to prepare, and so looking forward to it. Guys are healthy and ready to go. We had a good practice today. We'll have this little shoot around here on the floor. Be our first time being on this floor, so and then a little walk through tomorrow. So a good day of preparation before we go.
Start right here on the right-hand side, Jamie.
Hey, Jim Thomas, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. When you have a late game like that, or one of the later games, how do you keep the guys from bouncing off the walls?
Well, yeah, it'll be a little interesting. We haven't looked back on it. We've been to the tournament 11 times in recent years, and we've always seemed to be on a Thursday and a morning game at the same time. So it's been a little bit interesting as far as preparation, travel, getting ready to go. But as far as 6 o'clock is about a normal time game for us, and we will do a shoot around in the morning, a walkthrough at Fontainebleau. We shot over there today, practiced over there. So we'll do something in the morning to prepare. But we won't use our time here on the floor because we thought that was too early, the 20 minutes that they give you. So, pregame meal, scouting report, those types of things. It takes up the day pretty good.
Right there near the aisle. Karen, thank you.
Jamie, Nigel Hayes.
Yes.
What kind of challenge does he present? I mean, that kind of player, you've got, I think, a couple of guys similar to that. How do you prepare for a guy like that?
Well, obviously, interesting. We were familiar with Nigel. We recruited him out of high school, and obviously from Ohio. And it's interesting to see how he's progressed. He came out the same year as Mike and Jamel, so similar type players that we were looking at. He's progressed as far as ability to play out on the perimeter, drive the basketball, shoot the three as well, but it's still that physical, hard playing, aggressive, looking for contact, both offense and defense. So he's a hard matchup. He can play. Some teams play the 3 against him. Some teams play the 4 against him. Oftentimes he's playing at the 5 too. So you're going to have a lot of different guys guarding him, and that's our plan going into the game. So again, they're a team that's interior dominated as far as getting their scoring from those two guys, and Hayes and Happen. So it's somebody that we've got to contain. We want to try to keep him off the foul line. He really tries to look for contact on his drives, his post-ups, and if you can do a good job of staying between him and the basket and keeping him off the line, that's probably your best way of having success. Paul.
Jamie, statistically, Mike and Jamel, two leading scorers, but can you just talk about how important that when you guys have had good games this year, how important they've been to that?
Yeah, I mean, those guys have been good for us. Obviously, they've been the most consistent guys of scoring, and Mike and Jamel, they score in different ways. We really think that our passing, our spacing are the two most important things, and allows them to score. And if we have other guys making shots, I think that's when we're best offensively. So obviously, they're the guys that lead us in numbers, but we do need some perimeter scoring from our guards, knocking down shots. And when we do that, that's when we're at our best. But we usually do play through them. They're guys that can pass. They can go off the dribble. They can score. But they can get other guys shots, too, and I think that's what makes them and makes us our best.
Jamie, how have they been able to use their tempo or lack thereof to their advantage?
Well, I mean, that's how they play. I mean, their tempo is kind of caused because their defense is so solid, so good. They're not going to give up easy baskets. Transition defense is a priority for them, so they don't want to give up anything in transition. They preach it for years, and they've done it for years. And so we do want to get at transition baskets, transition opportunities. We want to take advantage if we can. We've seen times where they do give them up. Watch a number of films, games of them, and it can happen. So you got to play good defense on one end, and then come up with the rebound, the loose ball, the deflection, whatever it may be. but that's when we're at our best, and that's when we got to do so. But on the offensive end, they're going to be patient. They're going to try to get the ball inside. They're going to rely on their guards to make one-on-one plays at the end, too. So we don't want to, again, talked about fouls earlier, but we want to limit our fouls, and we certainly don't want to be fouling at the end of the clock when they're trying to go one-on-one, create shots. So, again, they will be patient. We know that, and that's how they play. Yeah, Paul.
They're a lot like you guys. I mean, consistently in the NCAA tournament over the last 15 years, you know, they seem to always have a couple of seniors and this. I mean, do you see like your program built similarly to them? And I mean, do you see some similarities in that?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously played them in the NCAA tournament a while back, and then we had that home and home that we played with them as well. And you know, even back then, you talked about the similarities in of the players. They had a lot of local guys, Wisconsin guys. We are guys from different areas, but they seem to have have a little bit more size than we've had, I think, over the years consistently. But again, I think defense and rebounding was what they based their program on, and ours as well. And I think over time, you know, the game's changed a little bit. They've changed, we've changed, and you know, we're finding ourselves in a position there where we're both. They've redshirted guys. They've had guys that get fifth-year guys that have had great success too as well. So I think there's a lot of similarities, like you mentioned, Paul.
Right back down here, Dawn. Thank you.
A couple of your players mentioned that preach that 20-plus assists is something that you're looking for.
Yeah.
How important is ball movement to what you do?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some games when we've been very good offensively, and then we have some games where we've struggled, like everybody, and that seems to be the fact. The number that stands out. Our numbers, our assist numbers are down, and maybe our turnovers were up. But you know, we just found ourselves. We've gotten a little bit stationary. Ball movement is what they mentioned, but player movement as well. And so we want to be a little bit more active with movement, but also with the movement of the basketball. We just seem to have, and it was something we've emphasized these last 5 days, and I think we got a better feeling of it. And it was great to have these 5 days to prepare with the one day where we really just they did some shooting on their own. But you know, I think it was something. Obviously, you want to prepare for Wisconsin, but we had some time to really look at ourselves and what we could do better. And you know, I think they got a good feeling the last couple of days offensively. It seemed like we're back to where we've had good stretches. Every team has some good games and some good stretches offensively, and we've had those. But we've also run into some issues games, and again, those games seem to be low turnovers, low shooting percentage. I mean, low assists, low shooting percentage.
So in 5 days, you have time to do yourself.
Yeah, it was especially Sunday when we didn't know who we were playing. You know, we had those days, and Monday we focused a little bit more on us than Wisconsin. But yeah, it was an opportunity. Like I said, the extra day and actually the extra day and the late start on Friday seemed to be a significant change.
Left side, Jamie.
Jamie, you've been in so many of these opening games. What have you learned over the years about what you want to do in the hours leading up to it, and what you don't want to do with a team?
Yeah, it's always different because, like I said, the timing of it, how travel. We've had some situations where those things come into play, but you want to be able to relax. You want them rested. I think that's something we really were able to do. Even though we had this long stretch here, we were able to get some good practice in, but we didn't go long today. Very short. Want to get off here quick today when we get some shooting in. But I think rested, confident. I'd love to get some guys making some shots here today in the first time in the gym in this arena. So those are things that we're looking at, and just having some fun. I mean, enjoying the opportunity. I think with this group, it's different because we have we have a lot of new guys, 6 really new players. If you count Cameron as a freshman, redshirt freshman, and then the 3 graduate transfers, and that really became our. That's the thing I really emphasize is at the end of the year as far as getting into the tournament, because those guys transferred to our place and had never played the NCAA tournament, and we really want to get that. So making it special. Rather, obviously, as a team that's been here a lot, but making it special for those guys. And you saw it too. I think Alonzo really practiced well this week, and Raphael was really good. And we need those guys. So I think that was trying to make it for this one for us. Making it about those guys, those seniors who've been playing in their first time. We've had seniors that have played in this a number of times, but we have seniors now that they're playing for the first time.
Standing up on the right, Jamie.
Yes.
How important is a strong bench, and do you believe yours in particular could be a difference maker in a tournament game like this?
Yeah, I do. I think it's obviously important. Obviously, different things occur, injuries, foul trouble, long minutes, but I think inside I feel really good about our guys. I mean, with the 5 guys we play, we don't have that big guy that stands out, but I think with the numbers of the 5 guys that we can rotate in, and we'll need it against this team because their interior scoring is their strength. That's what they're trying to do. They want to go inside, so we need those guys. So that definitely is going to be critical. And then our guard play obviously is going to be. I'd love to get Damon Wilson and get some good minutes out of him. Sterling Smith as well, who played so well for us early. We haven't quite got him going since. So it would be a great thing for us and something that well needed, much needed as with everybody. They want to get some guys. But Sterling's here as a shooter. Cameron obviously has played more down the stretch here and has had some big games for us. But again, we got to make some perimeter shots.
Anything else for the head coach of the Panthers? Yes, left-hand side.
Jimmy, does your entire staff become more important this time of year as opposed to during the regular season? I mean, are you actually needing guys to do different things than they've done in terms of your assistance in that?
Well, I mean, it's really the focus on opponents. We've got the 3, kind of break it down with three the pod and the 3-4 teams and the other 3 that we need to know. So we really focused on the scouting, talking about our guys and really just trying to get some guys. I mentioned some guys that haven't played as well down the stretch and maybe get some extra work with them, extra shots, and just again talking about that trying to this confidence and getting them going. It's a long year and not everybody's going to be playing great at the end of the year. So we really are trying to get those guys on to feel good and feel confident going into the game. So that's something we've really emphasized with our guys.
Anything else for the head coach? All right.
No one back.
We do. Standing in the back. Thank you.
Jamie, real quick, can there be a benefit to being a 10 seed from your perspective as a point of motivation or a rallying point for this team flying under the radar?
I mean, I think with this year and the different things, there's the differences between 7, 10. I mean, looking at it, there's not much, and you look at the teams that have, even though number 1 seeds, they have 6 losses and the most in history. So again, I think the theme has been parity, and it's wide open, and anybody could win this thing. So I don't know. I mean, it's. Our guys are excited about being here. I think the biggest thing motivate is you want to be playing your best and excited. And I think, like I said, these for 3 guys that have never been here before and are seniors and came here for specifically that reason, I think that's the motivation. I think that's the thing for us that's great. And if you need to be an underdog or a favorite, whatever it may be, I mean, some favorites will win and some underdogs will win, and we see that every year. So we just want to be the best team. We want to be the team standing.
Okay, Jamie, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Weber State is next at 6 o'clock. Student athletes for the Wildcats. Our final team tonight are the Wildcats of Weber State. They're the number 15 seed in the East. They are the Big Sky regular season and tournament champions. They will play Xavier in Friday night's finale. We have Joel Bollenboy and Jeremy Senglin on the dais, and we are ready for questions at any time. Start right there. Thank you. Wait.
Joel, now that you've had a chance to scout Xavier a little bit, what are your impressions of the big men on their team you'll face tomorrow?
They're just really tough and physical and athletic. So, yeah. They're a little more physical than the teams we've played this year and way more athletic than the teams we've seen this year.
Right down here on the right-hand side, gentlemen.
You guys have won 26 games, if I'm not mistaken. Do you feel like an underdog?
Jeremy, take that one.
Yeah, we feel like an underdog because, I mean, Xavier is a big name school and we're not that big of a name, but I mean, that doesn't make us, nervous or scared or anything. We want to accept the challenge and take it.
Right here in the aisle, thank you.
Hi, Joel. What are your impressions of Xavier? I mean, you probably didn't watch him much in the regular season just by virtue of time in conference, but now that you've had a chance to study them, what do you think?
I think they're a good team, but I also think we're a good team ourselves. We just have to come in and play the way we play and do what we've been doing all season and come in and compete and just be ready to play.
To both players, Weber State's got a couple of huge upsets in this tournament historically. Is that something you guys have talked about much, about the possibility of going out and shocking the world tomorrow?
Jeremy, you first, please.
Yeah, we heard about it and they brought that up, but I mean, we're not that team, in the past, so we got to make our own story and do our own thing.
Joel, same question. Upsets?
Yeah, we definitely want to pull this upset off, and to do that, we just have to be the team that we are now. The past teams that have done it, those are different teams, and just the team that we have now, we got to come out ready to play and just get the job done.
Jeremy, last year you guys were 13 and 17, and you two were the leading scorers. What's different this year with the team that you're able to be so successful?
I feel like we're just more together as a team this year. And we got some new pieces that helped us out a lot this year, different shooters and defenders, and that just helped out all around.
Straight back.
Fellas, it seems like you have a pretty good relationship with Damian Lillard, you guys and your team. Has he contacted anybody? Has he talked to you, given you any advice? If so, what?
Joel first, then Jeremy.
Well, he hasn't talked to me. I'm not sure if he's contacted anybody else.
I mean, before the season, he was telling us, we got to stay confident and play, together as a team. But since we've been, in this tournament situation, he hasn't contacted anybody.
For either of you, what's been so good about your defense this year?
Just everybody has each other's back, and we're just long and athletic, and we hold down the paint. We rebound really well, and then we get it and push it. When the team misses, we push out in transition.
Over here on the right, gentlemen.
I don't know if you guys paid attention to any of the scores today, but Yale beat Baylor. When you see a score like that, does that excite you? And when you see something like that, you say, well, why not us? Why can't we do something like that?
Jeremy first, and then Joel.
Yeah, that gives us confidence, of course, seeing a smaller seed beat a bigger seed. But that's another team. Yale's their team, and we're us. So, just because they did it, and we just got to believe in ourselves. We're not them.
Yeah, that gives us a little more confidence, but no team's unbeatable. Every team in this tournament can lose at any given moment, so we just got to come in ready to play.
Stay here.
Joel, can you talk about the development of your play to the point now where, NBA teams are giving you looks from when you first got on campus at Weber State?
from when I first got on campus. I came in about just 205. I was really long, lanky, skinny, just athletic. I was really raw. And over the years, I've been able to put about 35 pounds on, all muscle. I increased my vertical. I've just gotten better, stronger, faster, more explosive every year. My confidence has gone up every year too, and I've just gotten better and better.
Anything else for the student athletes? The Wildcats? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll excuse you. And we'll have Coach Randy Ray here at 6:15. Head coach of the Wildcats is here, Randy Ray, and we're going to ask him to make a statement regarding his team being in the tournament here in St. Louis, and then we'll go to questions. Randy, please.
Well, first of all, we're obviously very excited to be here. I think our team definitely earned it with what we had to go through winning the Big Sky tournament, 3 games, and I think by an average amount of maybe 3 points per game or something like that. So our kids showed absolutely terrific resiliency and toughness in winning that Big Sky tournament, and it was always tough. We had a target on our back the whole way through, and we got everybody's best effort. So for them to come through it in the way they did, I was very, very proud of them. But we're excited to be here. We're ready to go out and fight and see what happens.
Start right here in the middle.
Coach, after having a chance to study Xavier, what do you see as the biggest challenges for you guys in tomorrow's game?
Just one, or you want 20? I can give you 20. No, I think obviously they're exceptional. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the country. But the thing that you look at or you see from them is their size, their athletic ability, and then their physicalness and their toughness. That's kind of their DNA. That's kind of who they've always been. And so, that poses the first problem, obviously, is to match that. But I really see their rebounding is outstanding. They're one of the better rebounding teams in the country. They're the best rebounding team in the Big East. And it's because of that physicality and toughness that they're at the top of their league. So we've got to be able to rebound with them. We've got to match their physicality. We like to play that way too. Maybe not quite the same bodies, but we still like to play that way. So we've got to do a great job there. And then transition defense, getting back in transition against this team is going to be critical because they can spurt on you like no team we've played this year. They can go on a 20-0 run in a heartbeat. So you got to make sure that you're getting back on defense. So rebounding, transition defense, making sure we match their physicality and their toughness is going to be really important.
Over here, Randy.
Coach, I asked this of your players. You've won 26 games. Do you feel like an underdog?
I don't know if we feel like one, but we are one. I mean, I don't think these kids ever feel like we don't go into any game. It's not in our DNA to think that we can't win a game. And it doesn't matter who we play, when, where, it doesn't. That's not the way we think. So these kids going into this game tomorrow night, they're going to go in like we've always have all year long. We expect to win the game. And that's what we do. Like, you can't go in any other way. And these kids believe that. And I want them to believe that. And that's kind of who we are. So we are definitely an underdog. There's no question about it. But, it's kind of nice. This will be the first time once we started conference play, we were picked to win the league. This will be the first game since we started our first conference game that we will be an underdog. We've been favored in every game, even home and road, in conference play. So maybe we ought to embrace it a little bit. It's kind of nice. But no, we'll be ready to go tomorrow. The kids will be ready.
Just as a follow-up to that, I don't know if you saw Yale won today, and with less than a minute to play in double overtime, Little Rock's up by 4 over Purdue. When you see scores like that, does a part of you say, hey, why not us?
Oh, no question. No question. And I love it when our kids are watching that, too, and they're following it. So, yeah, it's you know what? All the talk before the tournament starts and all the talk before the game, and you're this big an underdog and all that big an underdog. Once they tip that ball up, there's 2 teams playing basketball, and anything can happen. We know that, and everybody knows that. And so tip it up. It's 5-on-5. Let's go.
For the Xavier side that maybe hasn't seen Joel play as much, what makes him a special player, and where does he particularly excel?
Rebounding. He's a high-level rebounder. I think he ended up, third in the country in rebounding this year. It's just something he's always been able to do. He's always had a knack. Even when the rest of his game wasn't as polished as it is now when we first got him, he could always rebound. And that takes toughness, it takes determination, and he's got a great sense for it. And then you add the fact that he's 6'9", 230, and he's very, very athletic with good hands. That also makes him one of the best rebounders in the country. And he's a hardworking kid. He understands his strengths. He pays attention to those strengths, and he takes great pride in it.
In the back, on the aisle. Thank you.
Randy, I've talked to you a few times over the years about scheduling. The fact that you have a hard time getting big schools to play you, impossible almost to come to Ogden. Does that make this game a little more fun for you and your players?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've always liked this challenge. We always play a really difficult preseason schedule, and so we try to schedule as many BCS schools as we can along the way. And we're having a harder time getting them to play wherever. And so anytime you get an opportunity to play a BCS school, especially in the NCAA tournament, makes it that much more special. So, these kids are going to embrace it and relish it and go out and obviously play really hard and fight like crazy and see what happens. So, yeah, that just it adds to the excitement. And you add the fact that Xavier is, they're a 2 seed. What are they ranked in the country now? 9th, I think. Yeah, they've been anywhere from even higher than that. That's even more of a challenge, but a fun, exciting challenge that we look forward to.
2 questions up, one here, one on the aisle.
What have you learned in your previous trips to the NCAA tournament that you think will help you going forward tomorrow?
I think when you first get here the first time, there's a lot of different distractions going on and everything. And then I think it's what's helped me is how to help the kids not get caught up in all that stuff. And because we've got some kids on the team that have played in the tournament, obviously, but we've got more that haven't. And so I think it's helped me going through it, the itineraries, the schedules, and then talking to our veterans that have been there before to kind of help these younger kids say, hey, okay, we're going to have some fun. I want these kids to enjoy every minute of it until it's time to get locked in and prepare. Then it's time to lock in and prepare. And our veterans have done a really good job helping the young kids so far. When we've gotten to practice, they've had that laser focus, and they're talking to those young kids, hey, it's time, so let's get going. But it's helped me to kind of help prepare the team for what to expect and kind of handle it all, to be honest.
Just coming out of the locker room now, the team seems really relaxed and confident. Is that kind of the mentality you want at this point?
Yeah, no, we want to be loose. That was the challenge we had in the before going into the tournament. I want them to be not relaxed but more loose, not worried. We don't play worried. We want to play confident, and there's a big difference. But yeah, I want them to be that way a little bit. I want them to be relaxed. I want them to be loose. They're going to be ready to play. And I would rather have a team like that than too uptight. Uptight doesn't work very well. And so you got to have the balance. You got to have the focus. You got to have the right mindset. But then you also got to be relaxed. And I think where you get the relaxed part of it or the loose part of it is confidence. And I think these kids have been confident all year long.
Anything else for the head coach? Yes, down here. Jim?
You mentioned at the outset all the close games in the conference tournament. Can that have any benefit moving forward, just to know that you can win those nail biters?
Yeah, and it just wasn't the conference tournament. We go back about 3 weeks. Every game we played, home road. Bollenboy was out for a while. We had to play 3 games without him. We had 3 absolute nail-biting games that went down to the wire. And then, but we've played the last 3 weeks. I think the average margin of victory was somewhere around like 6 points. And so we've been in a bunch of them. And I think it gives us great confidence. We've got a little motto going that we've had with our team. We're going to grind like crazy, and we're going to go find a way at the end. And that's kind of what we've done. And this team has grinded it out and find a way to make plays at the end when they needed to. And when you do that, I think you gain confidence. I'd like to be winning by 20, believe me. It's just not the nature of our team. But when you can find a way to win close games, I think that adds a bunch of confidence to your team and your mentality that you're never out of it, that you can always find a way. And I think it's a good mentality to have. And these kids have been really, really resilient and very tough winning those close games.
Anything else for the head coach? Okay, thank you very much, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks.